We're gonna enhance this image by changing the background landscape using Snapseed app with some color grading in Lightroom. Opening this image in Snapseed, going to Tune Image. Here I'm going to increase the shadows and highlights to make the image brighter. Also adding warmth to get a more warmer look. Next I'm going to use the healing tool to remove the subject. Need to do it as I will be adding some ambience to the background before adding the subject again. Also removing the shadow, you can add it later too. Also these reflections in the water. Now I'm going to add this image with hills and the evening sky. Not worried about the beach as it will be covered here. Trying to place at a desired position. Setting the opacity to 100. Going to masking screen. Revealing the sky image by brushing on that part at the top. Also trying here to get a good transition between the background and the greens in the foreground. Not going to do a perfect masking work here as I will try to use different methods to smoothen it. First, using the lens blur tool with linear gradient option. Placing the center point where the subject's feet would be. Decreasing the transition and adding just a subtle blur effect. Going to masking screen, removing it in the bottom part of the foreground. Now with curves, we'll try to add some haze, lifting the blacks and adding some orangish tones using reds and green curves. In the masking screen, applying around the edges of the greens and the hills. Next, adding selective filters to make the greens dark to match it with the darker parts of the background to make it look more natural. Also here on the right where the shadows are created because of the sunset light coming from the right side. Adding more haze with curves. Now I'm going to come back to the first edit in TuneImage and save a copy here. Coming back to the last edit. Here, using double exposure, I'm going to add the now saved image and set the opacity to 100. Going to masking screen, brushing on the subject to roughly reveal him. Now precise masking work around the edges to get a good selection of the subject. You can notice it doesn't look good because of the missing shadows. So now using the brush tool, I'm going to do some burning by reducing the brush value to -5. And carefully brushing around the feet and the left side to replicate shadow of the subject. Also some dodge and burning on the subject to make some shadows and highlights. Here you can see the difference. One more selective filter in the sky to remove the blue saturation. Now darkening the overall image with curves. In masking screen, removing the effect around the subject to make those areas pop more. Again with curves, this time adding more brightness and yellows. In the masking screen, applying it around the edges of the greens in the background to make it more interesting. Going back to add a selective filter to remove the redness in the clouds. Now in Tune Image, applying some contrast by reducing highlights and shadows but increasing the saturation to make it pop. It is a bit rough around the edges as I am doing it fast for the video. Could fine tune it by taking a little more time. Going to Lightroom app now to do some color grading. This is a personal preference for me. In the color mix, tuning blues to pop the shirt and moving the green hues more towards orangish tones. finishing touches here, applying a linear gradient in the bottom part to make it more dark. The final result here. Hope you found the video useful. Thanks for watching.